Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Thursday. How you doing out there? You all right? You're gonna be okay. It's gonna be fun. We joke around here, actually. There's a bridge kind of by where we're at. It's called the Skyway Bridge. I think it's working. They say, all good? Hey, everybody. How you doing? One of those days? One of those days in the stock market as well as here. And if I get the thumbs up, we are good to go. Welcome back. Happy Thursday to you. How's it going out there? Huh? Yeah? I was saying, we have a bridge here. It's called the Skyway Bridge. And when everybody's having like a tough day, you'll say, oh, I'm gonna go jump off the Skyway Bridge, right? Everybody wants to jump off Skyway Bridge today, right? People do that. I'm not saying, it's a bad thing that happens, but it's a Skyway Bridge type day there. I'm gonna try to find some positivity in it. What? You don't like the Skyway? Yeah, suicide jump. Cody's not a fan of the Skyway Bridge. Okay, was a positive guy there. I like it. We are financial advisors that do better with money than we do with streaming, and we are happy to be here today. I've got a few things to share with you. There's not a lot going on that's good out there. I'm going to try to find some positivity. Like I said there, Washington's a mess. Remember the continuing resolution? November 17th, right? November 17th, that runs out. We don't have a speaker in the House to even bring a vote. They're not working on anything that has anything to do with that right now. Elon Musk is out there. He was bummed out, man. Darn near looked depressed and sounded depressed on his conference call there. He's depressed about kind of the midterm future there, optimistic about the future there. You got Jerome Powell out there speaking, saying, man, inflation is still too high. We're going to do everything we can to get it to 2%. He basically said they're just going to leave rates like that until they consider raising them again. And he said a couple months of data actually is not good enough. We need to see more there. We need to be higher for longer, which, right? That's what we talked about having go on over there. So that happened there. And he also basically said growth needs to be lower for a while. He's telling you to stop spending your money, right? That's essentially what he was trying to do today. It says lower growth is needed. Stop spending money. Just hold out. That's actually what we're going to talk about tonight on The Wine and Wealth. Guarding your wealth. What is the process to making sure that if you are already wealthy, you can go through all of that? If you want to be wealthy, what does that mean to you? What are the steps that we need to take? We're going to dive into that here tonight, provided everything goes okay. Nonetheless, like I said, not too much positive to talk about today. On the bright side, it's October 19th. Does anybody know? Anybody know over there? That is, right? Maybe it's just something that happens on October 19th. It could be October 19th, 1987. That's one positive. It's not October 19th, 1987. There's just something about October 19th. You guys get it? Does it? Black Monday. Largest one-day drop in the stock market ever. October 19th, 1987 there. I was trying to look for some other positives today. I look hard. I'm exhausted, right? I was looking for something positive to share today. This is what I got. Gas prices have come down. So oil's gone up, but gas prices have actually come down. If you take a look at the charts here, back down to a national average of $3.70. Yeah, that's a 3. We're back here where we started the middle to beginning of the year. So a little bit of a decline from $4 to $3.70. Got a few extra bucks to go buy, sodas and whatever you buy in the gas station while you're waiting for your car to fill up there. Powerball tickets, I guess, being one of the options there. Let's talk about the stock market. Let's just get over this here. Here's the S&P running back down towards the 200-day moving average. The technical question from here is it a higher low now, or do we break through the low? Remember that if we come back down towards this low, that is also prior support that previously showed us that people were interested in buying the market at that level. Has that changed? Does nobody want to buy the market now if it comes back down here? If you liked it up here, don't you love it down here? So, see, I don't know. I'm trying to put positive spins on things, and I don't really know. I do need to interrupt real quick because I forgot my very one note that's above the camera. Friday, if you are a client of Jazz Wealth, Friday, the portal will be down at night until about 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be doing upgrades there and the full transition to the Goldman platform. So just a heads up, there will be a warning there for you. But if you log in, no, we did not jump off the bridge. We are just upgrading, making everything a little bit better there. All right. Today, this is going to be a little bit of a jumping around day. Tesla in the news here, obviously, with their earnings coming out there. Tesla accounted for minus 9 points in the S&P here today, down just about 10%, right? They missed on earnings there. A lot of really cool things. They had some downtime in some of their factories to improve efficiency there, something that we know is probably true because General Motors said the same thing. We figured out how to make things more efficient so that we can have lower priced vehicles there. He says that their price cuts, you know, we've been mentioning all the price cuts that have gone on there. He was really bummed out about that and said those price cuts are ineffective because most people buy a car utilizing the monthly payment. And so they cut the price, but interest rates went up. And so the monthly payment actually went up as well. I do want to point out that when I was looking through their financials, the energy portion of their business, they break it out into categories like Netflix and Disney and everybody else. The energy business is now their highest margin business, meaning they make the most amount of money from their energy business there. It adds about $500 million to their quarterly profits. So you could see that as good or bad, depending on how you want to look at it. It's good because they're adding profits, obviously. But if that energy segment becomes more volatile, then the price of the stock becomes more volatile, their fundamentals become more volatile, and things like that. Okay, best quote. Cody, you ready for this? Let's see if this gets a laugh out of you. Best quote out of Elon Musk's Tesla earnings conference call here. Ready? Somebody said, can you just make the cars cheaper, put less stuff in them? Maybe they're less advanced and you just have a cheaper car. And he goes, well, yeah, any fool can reduce the cost of a car by making it worse and deleting functionality and capability. It's like if you want to lose weight and you said, well, I need to lose 15 pounds right away. Well, I guess you could just chop your arm off, but then you're still sitting there with one arm, right? And you're still fat.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
That was good from Elon Musk. So I genuinely got a chuckle out of that one because he did say that. But, you know, some people can say things like that. Let's try something else here. I have not done this yet. Tesla loses, 10% in a day. We're going to use our little research portal here. I'll just put 20 years just to make sure we get everything in there. Let's see how often that's happened. So Tesla has in fact lost 10% in it. Well, it's really 9%, right? Really 9. So Tesla has lost 9%, a total of 35 times in one day over the course of, you know, its entire lifespan, really, at this point. Here's all the various times that it's lost about that much, essentially, what, 2.5, almost 2.7 times a year is how often it has a big down day like that. I'd like to try something else if you've got a second here. What tends to happen the next day, week, month, 3 months, 6 months, 1? Yeah, let's do that. All right, so here's the performance of Tesla going forward. So the next day, after losing more than 9%, about 70% of the time, it averages a gain of 2.77%, median gain 1.95. There's a big decline in there, though, we'll take a look at. A week later, a little volatile in here, not always positive, but averaging a gain here, wrapping up towards double digits. Going forward, it becomes most advantageous to play for the 3-month time period, apparently, in terms of positivity, biggest gains coming a year later. That makes sense. One thing I'd like to see. All right, so the 2010, 13. Okay, so the biggest loss actually came in its youngest part of its life. That's curious. I like to see that. So in 2010, 2013, after having a 9% down day, the next day was down 16, then 7 during a, you know, not kind of a real tough time actually for any stock, but this was early in life. As you get later and older, notice that as it slows down, becomes less volatile and everything. 2020, after falling 9%, the next day wasn't so bad, and then, wow, this is within a couple of days actually. So that's cool. You don't want to see that there's a lot of days where it falls double digits after falling basically double digits. Biggest gains on the upside also kind of tended to happen when it was younger, so getting that volatility in there. It starts to die down as the years get closer to the current year. I just thought that'd be fun to take a look at to get a little idea there. The performance-wise, you can now see what happens there. Nonetheless, Tesla is obviously dominating the news today. We'll go on to some of the others here in just a second. First, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is the strongest year to date. It is also holding up almost the best year to date. The Dow down 276 here today, and the Russell, unfortunately, back to negative year to date. It has erased those 2 days in 2 days. So let's zoom in a little bit. Look at this little march up. So the Russell's like, yeah, we found a bottom, we found a bottom. And in 1 day, basically 2 days here actually, it erases all of that. That is aggressive selling. That is still weakness. People don't believe that they were taking a shot and then they get out. And they take a shot and they get out. That's what's happening there. We then find that, oh, maybe there's a little bit of a bottom here. And again, it erases itself really strong to the downside. That's a bad sign when you have a stock, an index, commodity, future, whatever you're trading, and whenever it tries to bounce, it gets slammed back down, right? That's like a small person fighting a really big wrestling guy or something. There's just no chance. You get up and they slam you back down and you think, I got this. You get back up again, slam you down with force that you don't even know exists. Think of that when it comes to the Russell 2000 here. Gold moving a little bit higher here. I would maintain the same thing. If you own it, you got to be cautiously taking profits there. That is a tough one to expect that it's going to continue. So far, not bad. Another 1% today. It looks bigger than it is because normally gold is pretty quiet there. Oil. There you go. Oil a little bit higher today. Like we said, oil prices moving higher, but gas prices are, helping the retail person out. So it's the best of both worlds. If you're investing in oil, you're obviously making money there. You're spending less money at the pump. Usually it does not go like that. That correlation is not normally, like that. Unfortunately, the 10-year continues to fall. That is the comments from the Fed and everything hurting that today. Also, the supply issue that we talked about. The 10-year got to, well, I looked at it today, 4.992%. Basically 5%, right? 5% on the 10-year. My freaking goodness. All right, Netflix in the news. That's earnings-wise. That's a positive thing. I mean, maybe there's 3 positive things about the markets here today. Total net change of paid subscribers, 41% higher than expected there. That's the biggest jump that I could find since we go to that COVID lockdown where everybody went home and just signed up for Netflix and told your boss that you were working, but you weren't working. You were just Netflix binging. Revenues were the same, but earnings were up. That's kind of a theme going on here, right? Sales, the same, but we made more money, at least on a gross basis there. They did confirm that they will be raising prices in the U.S., the U.K., and France as well. Bad news. Discover. This is a good one to watch around earnings for kind of like the upper to mid-level market, right? The consumer, the upper to mid-level consumer. Upper low to mid-level consumer, I should say it that way. Interest income was higher today, all good there. What I found interesting is the financials as a whole have been saying that they're raising their loan loss provisions. They don't do that when times are good and people are paying their bills. So I took it a step further. I went inside to Discover's financials and we found that their total, meaning everything, loans, credit cards, car loans, everything that they do, total 90-day plus delinquents were up. Okay, that explains it. Credit cards only, just looking at credit cards, the 90-plus day delinquency rate is up, right? So they're seeing people are feeling the pinch of higher dollars being spent elsewhere, and therefore they're like, we're going to raise our loan loss provisions, meaning like their emergency fund kind of thing. That's what they're raising. They raised it by 30%. Not a good sign there. So I try to repeat the same thing with different stocks anytime I can, so you see a theme. An economic theme. All right, Las Vegas Sands there. It was a good beat, actually, on earnings there. They're going to raise their dividend, and they're buying back $2 billion worth of shares. Nonetheless, it's their first buyback since COVID, and that's a good sign for Chinese growth because, remember, they're a Macau primarily type product. They're not Las Vegas anymore. See how they're just called Sands up in the corner? There's no Las Vegas to it, so it's just Sands. Costco. Their CEO is stepping down there. He's going to celebrate New Year's Eve, and then the next day he'll be retired, right? That's basically how it's going to happen. They already have the next in line. It is their COO that's going to be taken over there. And I just, to give you more bad news, Equifax. So Equifax misses on earnings, and their primary driver for this was they're seeing less action in the mortgage market. They're another one to say, okay, we're not getting as many inquiries here in the mortgage-related category. Sorry, but that's hurting our earnings. Equifax being one of the credit unions there, and kind of a fun one to look at in the terms of the health of credit out there, meaning the health of new credit, we should say. So that's what's going on there. Tomorrow, American Express, and it's Friday, so not much. American Express, Region Financial will be almost the last of the brand name type financials to report, and Schlumberger, Comerica also. You have 3 Fed members speaking again tomorrow. Those will be the ones that had yet to speak so far. They'll knock that out, and we got some oil numbers coming out as well. Jazz After Dark, if you want to follow along, we did growth or value stocks last night. The data behind that. What's better? Historically, what's better? And then we talked about buying the best performers, doing some stats on that. It's kind of a fun one from the other day if you want to check it out. Other than that, Wine and Wealth will be coming up here tonight, talking about your wealth. It's going to be fun, right? I had a very interesting conversation with someone, so I want to start by sharing that and relating it into the 4 freaking steps that you got to follow to make sure you can move your wealth that way, right? Or would it be that way? Yeah, it'd be that way on the screen. Let's see if you have any questions, and we'll take it from there. Skyway Bridge, 306. Really? 316 people? Is that an accurate? What you seem like you looked it up.
Well, no, I didn't look it up, but they have that big net. They have the big nets now.
Really?
On the sides, yeah.
Oh, I was sort of joking about that, but 316 people. That's a lot of people per year since it originally opened.
It's a good number. It's a good number of people.
Wow. Well, what that tells you is, I mean, that's got to be the best bridge to use. No?
I don't like this.
You don't like it? Okay. Wow. But no, that's crazy. I did not know that. Papa, there you go. You guys are getting it there to Black Friday. Monday, Black Monday, Joel. But so you got it. The crash, the biggest decline in stock market history, October 19th. So pretty cool there. What is a senior secured floating rate note, and why do companies issue them? It's a way of them raising money by offering a kind of a priority in the event that something goes wrong. The stockholder, common stockholder, so you're out there, and let's say Equifax, you just buy Equifax. You're the last person to, if you get anything, should the company become insolvent. If they did, we would have some issues, but it's a way of giving you senior priority to the company as more of their assets, right? Instead of being last in line. It's a way to do that, and then it provides a little bit more juice or incentive by having that floating rate. Yeah. Dustin, any reason for healthcare to have such a bad day today? Well, it wasn't great, across the board. It just wasn't great. You had some earnings in there. There you go. But it's not, I wouldn't have looked at healthcare today and said, wow, that was an amazingly bad day. So I would kind of attribute a lot of that to earnings and the stock market as a whole. Michael wants PayPal to drop to 50. You the one who was asking about that the other day? So look at PayPal. We were talking about, I think you pointed this out as like, being one of those really extended stocks. It's not, right? There's very much just in a downtrend, a controlled but frustrating downtrend, right? So to get to $50 is certainly not out of the equation. There's nothing to stop it in the meantime from a technical perspective. So you may get your wish, bud. Yeah. Info SEC, did you take over Eric Sedge's position? I have a feeling I'm going to wake up tomorrow with his position because it's down a lot after hours, right? Oh, sorry. Sedge. He's the one that brought up the Skyway Bridge to me. It's down. Yeah, we're at $90. It's going to be a huge gap down tomorrow. So there's a good chance I'll be filling out some paperwork tomorrow to take that over for him. Tom. Ooh, so I personally don't like trading these types of stocks myself. But if you look at something being oversold, you say, well, what about Blackstone? Blackstone as well, just to, I'm not telling you what to do, I guess. I just came to my mind there. But you look at Moderna and you say, well, hey, I like the idea that it's oversold here in the short term. They've got earnings coming up, but you don't think anything worse is going to happen than what it already is. Hey, everything's already been priced in there. You want to play something that's extended. I can't blame you for that one there. Yeah. Thoughts on buying REITs while they're beat down for the dividend? Thoughts on REITs? If you're going to do that sort of thing, cash flow is important. There are a lot of REITs that are very popular because of the higher dividend, but they're very quickly running out of ways to pay that dividend. And so as that becomes more prevalent, the stock gets a little bit weaker. What you thought was going to be a nice 8, 9, 10% yield turns into be a loss of 5% and then a little bit to make up the difference on the yield. So I'm not a fan. It's not my top kind of focus, but I get the attraction for the dividend yield. I just would do something else. Traders and investors move the price of stock by buying and selling. How do they do that with oil prices? And oil prices are set by the countries producing it. No, so that's not true. The oil prices are not necessarily set by the countries producing it. This is a floating rate. So, for example, light sweet crude, when you look at something like that, that is the futures price, which is impacted by supply and demand and news, of course, wrapped around that. But I think that's what you're asking. Yeah. And the last question, or we'll keep going if you want. Know anything about Guggenheim Strategic? No, I have not seen this. I don't know much about what they're in there. I'm going to guess their focus is on a lot of preferred investments in no earnings type stocks. That's a very difficult thing to participate in. Yeah. Opinion on if the Santa rally, early for that. That's an early call there, but I would predict that if the market is pulling back in here, that will ultimately solidify some kind of a bottom into the holidays. Earnings season's really jacking us up right now because a lot of people are not reporting so well there. But if you look at the stocks that are reporting earnings that are getting sold off, they're getting sold off to value areas, right? So we'll see what happens there. Is your bet for a soft landing still on? Oh, I don't change my bets. I make a bet with you. If I'm wrong, I'm man enough to admit I'm wrong. I'm sticking with soft landing there. I don't like my chances as much, but I don't change my bet. Whatever I decide on, I'm going with it, man. Better or worse. Yeah. The Iran escalation is a bit of a problem. I don't like a whole lot of what happened the other day from a political standpoint that then translates into the stock market. But what was Thomas Jefferson's quote there? I just had something. There's not much I can do about it. Thomas Jefferson, he said, the government you elect is the government you deserve. You know what I mean? But I would add to that, the government you elect is the government you deserve, but you kind of got to cheer them on too. We don't all want to suffer. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll wrap it up there. It appears that somehow these commercials come into this and just take over, and I don't know. I have no idea why that. Can it be our commercial? Can we, if it's going to happen? Okay, yeah. I guess it's better than nothing. All right. I'm going to get ready for Wine and Wealth. We'll see you guys here a little bit later. If you're a client, go right into your portal and you'll see when I pop up live in the classroom. We have a separate classroom now. You can actually come in and join. Most people do watch the replay, so that's cool too. I know we're competing with football out there, but my team has a bye week, so I'm out. All right. Enjoy, and we'll see ya.